give me a clap? Cool. Yeah, Tony, so how are you doing?
We're rolling.
Yeah, rolling.
Yeah, so
What do you want to talk about?
we'll carry on from yesterday, shall we?
Okay. You were telling me about. Well, I really like the description of your boat trip
Yeah.
coming over here.
Yeah.
And then what it must have been like when you arrived. Like, what was your first impression of the UK?
Well, when I arrived, it was in August, so it was winter. It wasn't, we didn't experience the cold until later on, December time. It was definitely different from sunny Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, do you remember the first night you were here?
first night, the first night, I had to be put up in this house, This man and his family was put up in their place. And as I said, the following day they got me a job, furniture warehouse just down the road from where they were living. And I was in that job for some time, for a little while, and moved from there to another job where I started doing a bit of printing, which I used to do in Jamaica. But the experience climate-wise was new, Never been in a country where experienced, snow and stuff like that. And in those days, London was a grey place when the winter came. They used to be burning coal fires. All the houses was using coal fire. So the air, the atmosphere was filled with smoke, and it was foggy and dark looking, and the buses, when the bus was running, sometimes they had a man walking in front of the bus with a lantern to show them, to guide them along the route, because it was so dark and it was foggy. So, that was something new. Never seen nothing like that before. But we kind of get used to it, And as we can see nowadays, it's changed. There's not that sort of foggy atmosphere and smoke and things like before. It's more cleaner air. So it's changed. It's changed a lot from that time.
Yeah, what do you think it would be like if you came, now, say, from Jamaica, 2015?
Well, I think a lot of people who come now have it better than when I came. We were like the pioneers who set, things so that these people could come and enjoy it. We had to go through a lot of hardships,
What kind of hardships?
Well, you could get work, but most of the time the jobs that you'd get was like, not very good jobs, And for housing, accommodation and stuff, it was difficult, because they never used to like to let houses and places, rooms and things to Caribbean people. It was a certain amount of prejudice going on, so people find it difficult to get a place to live. There used to be signs saying no, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. You know, even the Irish people, they couldn't get a place to live, you know. And, you know, black people find it difficult. You know. So, things has changed, things has changed.
Yeah, but do you feel like it's because I have a feeling I'm much I'm a young guy, but I have a feeling that people here in the UK are becoming more afraid of foreigners. Do you think that's true?
Well, they've always had this sort of fear of foreigners, you know. I mean, Britain is a country that at one time, you know, they control like half the world, you know. There was in every country you could think of, you know, the British was there. But when it became time now for people from these countries to come here, you know, there was this fear. But it's a funny thing because it's like the working class people, the average, you know, working class people didn't know about the Caribbean or anywhere else. You know, they weren't taught about these places that the leaders of the country went to. You know, if anything, all they had was negative impression of what other countries was like. You know, nothing positive. You know, they didn't know. So there was that kind of fear. You know, when you meet them, when you know move amongst them. Not all of them. You know, some was quite open. You know, they would come to the parties when we have parties and things. They would come. You know. And like to enjoy themselves amongst, the West Indian people, and when the carnival started in Notting Hill Gate, that started about 1964, 65, and that's the biggest carnival, biggest outdoor activities in England, and it's attract, like over 1 million people over 2 days, So they adapt, they get to appreciate, Caribbean culture and thing.
What are those parties like?
The parties.
Yeah.
Were in them days.
Yeah.
It's nice. It was nice. You go to work. Before we came, there was no parties. People didn't know if they enjoy themselves. They'd go to work, come home. Sunday they would probably go to church, some of them, and back to work on Monday. They would only go to the pub. They would be in the pub most of the time. Pub drinking, and smoking fags. They would just smoke a lot. But when it comes to, having fun, dancing and things, they didn't know nothing about that. So we introduced that to them. Sound systems, and all that. It was us that brought that in, And they enjoyed it, The girls used to love coming to the parties. And the thing is, as a youngster in England at that time, there wasn't many young black girls around. So if you go to a party, you'd find more white girls would come, English girls would come, and they'd enjoy themselves. And the guys would, love it for them to be there as well, So, the guys, there are a few guys who became regulars, few English guys who would come and become regulars on the scene. And then the West End became a place for clubs and things. There was a few West Indian clubs in the West End. Place like the Roaring Twenties is a place famous for nightclubbing, and yeah, we started it this nightlife thing, you know, staying out all night till morning. We used to walk from the West End to North London, you know, to Tottenham, Finsbury Park. You know, we used to walk for the buses would stop running at certain hours, and we'd walk all the way in the, you know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. We'd walk it home. Them days, looking like, was fun. It was, you know, in them days.
What about youngsters today? Like, you know.
The youngsters today,
Yeah. Are they still doing the same things?
well, they go clubbing and stuff, yeah, but there's an element of sort of hostility, violence, you know. It's not like our days. Our days is just strictly fun. We go out to have fun, enjoy yourself, have a good laugh, dance and thing. You know, these kids nowadays, it's like they go out to intimidate each other or something, you know. They go in a club and there's one set over this side and another set over that side. And if he's from one area and the other set is from another area, they don't like each other for what, I don't know. Yeah. And you know, it's different. Different from before.
Were you? Give me a second. My video has to restart. There we go. And it's okay. Yeah. So tell me, were you making music and were you creative back then as well, like you do now?
No, not to this extent. I've always liked music and, you know, trying to be in some kind.
Hold on. Let me just ask you that again. Yeah. Can you clap for me again? A little bit higher. Perfect. Okay, so.
Yeah, I've always liked music. In Jamaica, I was in a little group. We used to rehearse and try and sing and all that. And when I came here, we had a little group as well where we used to sort of hang out and try, you know, harmonize and thing. And we had a recorder at one stage, and we would play like drums, you know, beating bongo drums and thing, and chanting and singing. But you know, nothing to the level that I'm trying to do now. You know, because they didn't have those sort of software at that time to create music, you know. But the desire for it was always there. You know, always wanted to be musical. And I did a photography course at one stage, you know, and video course as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like sound and vision, you know.
Where do you think that comes from?
Well, I would say I'm definitely a sort of creative person. You know. I like to be creative. You know.
What are some of the favorite things that you've made?
Some of the favorite things. I don't know. I've been taking pictures for sometimes. You know, I take picture of the carnivals, you know, stuff like that. Years ago when I started, I had access to a video camera, and I used to video bits and pieces. You know. I'm still in the process of trying to develop my skill, you know, musically, and you know, and video skills as well. You know, so it's a continuous progress of development, like, you know.
Yeah. Do you sometimes collaborate, like when your friend Sada was here, right? With other people?
Yeah, I try, try and do stuff with people. And created a rhythm and he sang on it. And it sounded good, he was happy with it.
Yeah.
He videoed it and it's on YouTube and Facebook.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe we could listen to it at some point.
Yeah, we could.
Good.
What else can we talk about? The barbering. I started barbering sometime back in 90, about 1990. Yeah. 80 something, 90, yeah. And I worked in a few shops, and eventually I came to a shop in West Green Road, and I was there like 1990, 91,
Hmm.
and in 91 I went to India.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I heard about Sai Baba.
Hmm.
He's a holy man in India,
Hmm.
a guru, Indian mystic. And a friend of mine mentioned him, told me about him. And I thought that if someone is around as powerful as they say he is, I would love to be able to see him. You know, so the person who told me about him told me that there was a man in West Green Road who has a travel agency, and he's a devotee of Sai Baba. So if I go and find this man, he would tell me more about him. So I decided to find out where's this place. And to my amazement, that shop was next door to the barbershop I was working in. You know, the travel agency was just next door to the barbershop, like I'm in there, and the shop was next door. So I went in and had a chat with him, and he told me that his wife and his mother and father was going to India to see Sai Baba in a week's time. And I said, boy, I'd love to go with them. And he says, yeah, you can go. But I didn't have money prepared or anything yet, you know. But it was like a miracle. Within a week, I got a fare. I went to the Indian High Commission and got my visa and my passport. I went to the doctor and get immunization, and by the following Sunday, I was off to India.
That was quick.
Yeah, within a week I was off to India, you know. And I spent like 3.5 weeks in India. And I saw Sai Baba. I went for his birthday. His birthday is November the 26th.
Can you tell me what it was like when you met him for the first time?
Well, I saw him. I didn't, when I went to his place, it's called an ashram. The center that he stays in, it's called an ashram. And it's a massive place, and it's a village. It's in a little village, and when you go there, it's like there's thousands of people that come and see him. And the village is packed with people, from all over the world that come, it's packed. And it's very difficult to get close to him, but somehow or the other I got sort of within close proximity, not very close, but to see the people how they revere him, they sort of, revere him and bow and thing to him, and